going on, guys? Commander here, and welcome to a new Halo Infinite update video. Now, as you're aware, or you may be not, 343 have been releasing monthly updates on Halo Infinite's development, and they will continue to do so all the way up until the game's release in fall 2021. And I'm going to go over the latest one, which is where they talk about the graphical changes in Halo Infinite. However, if you are new around here and you haven't already, feel free to subscribe because we're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by October 2021. So if you are new around here and you haven't already, feel free to subscribe. That'd be great. Thank you. Now, as of writing this script for this video, there have been a couple of updates that have been released before this current one, which I'm going to talk about. But there didn't seem to be anything major going on that I thought warranted making a video about, especially when there were so many other YouTubers doing exactly that. Now, the other updates, what they mainly consisted of was showing off the new weapon designs as well as talking about the sandbox. Now, while I found them really interesting to read and to learn about how exactly those elements are going to work in Infinite, I don't think it would have made for an interesting video. I've talked before about how good some of the weapons look when I did my review on Halo Infinite back in December. However, these previous updates, where they show some more of the weapons, I feel like I'll be just repeating myself from what I said in my previous video. So I don't think there's enough in the sandbox information to keep me talking for a whole video. However, this update is something completely different entirely. We get our first glimpse since July of the gameplay and exactly what the game looks like in its current state, and the least we should expect for when the game releases in fall 2021. Now, I'm going to go through everything that has been said. I'm not going to go through everything that's been said in this update. I'm just going to be talking about the screenshots. And that's just because I don't want this video to go on for too long. However, if you do want to read up on the update, I'll leave a link to in the description down below, so if you can read it for yourself. So, this first image is a concept art of the ring, and on its own, it doesn't look very interesting. However, or it doesn't look like there's much going on. However, I'm going to come back to this a little bit later on when I talk about after I talk about the other screenshots. Now, the second screenshot is something very interesting. We see an environment of Zeta Halo with the Warthog and some Marines. The first thing I notice is the Marines look very much like they did in Halo CE, with much less armor padding, which is something we haven't really seen in newer Halo games. Marines sort of have all this like big armor padding, a bit like, you know, military style in the current the world right now, which I think is the sort of like callback to Halo CE. I'm not too sure how I feel about it. The foremost sections of this image are also really cool as well. They actually have some weathering on, as if these structures have been here for hundreds upon thousands of years, in which they have. And also, another major change that you will notice that I will mention in different images is the lighting. The lighting looks so much better than it did in the demo back in July. I'm not entirely convinced they didn't change the models or the texturing on some of these models, but as I mentioned when I was talking about Halo Infinite gameplay, the lighting makes up a scene, and bad lighting can easily make a scene look much worse than it actually is. The next screenshot that we get is another concept art, which looks like a bandaged control center. And when I looked at it first, I thought, that doesn't look very Covenant. But that's when I realised that the table in the middle looked very UNSC, which is to indicate that the bandaged take particular parts from their enemies, which they defeat, which would make sense considering they are scavengers. However, I would like to see how this plays out in Infinite, and whether we may be forced to fight some UNSC equipment that the banished have stolen. The next image that we get is another concept art piece, and I have a lot to say about this, but mainly from a gameplay perspective. First of all though, this looks amazing. This banished fortress looks very intimidating, and I can see this being a real challenge to beat. But that's the point I want to make. How do we beat it? Is it going to be part of a mission, or is this going to be in the open world where if we feel like going and wiping out some banished for fun, we can just go and take on one of these fortresses and claim it for ourselves? And also, do the banished respawn there? These are the parts that I would love to know for myself and know what's actually going to happen. However, what I find really interesting is that 343 have said there are multiple ways in which you can approach this. Maybe you can go in spraying and praying and all guns blazing, or maybe you can go in stealthily and tactically. It's details like this that I'm really excited for, especially seeing how this fortress would work on different difficulty levels. The following image is something that really blew me away, so much so that it's now my new wallpaper on my PC. It shows the daylight cycle in Infinite, and by God, the lighting is so pretty and it makes the world look so good. As someone who uses game engines a lot, I'm always fascinated by the difference in lighting and how that difference in lighting makes the scene look better or worse dependent, and this game is no exception. In July, the lighting, while it was there, it wasn't very good, and it made the models look worse than they actually were, I think. But you can see with the correct lighting just how good this game is going to look on release. I'm fully ready for it. It also shows the different lighting types and how they will look in different times of the day, which I'm super pumped for as well. The next picture is one that really got me most excited. This shows a first-person view from the gameplay, and comparing this to what we got in July, the difference is simply night and day. Not only do we see in full swing the benefit of the corrected lighting, but we also see a sniper, which now has more details and weathering, and it adds the quality is so different, it's unreal. And comparing this to the model of the AR from July, which just looks like block colour. We also get to see another Forerunner installation here, and I can see that they are trying to mix the classic art style with the newer art style, mixing them together a little bit. And to be honest, I'm fully for that, and I'm fully up for it if they do it right. I'd rather them mix it up a little bit and give us variety, rather than moving to one side or the other. But if they're not going to do it right, I'd rather them just pick one and just stick with it. The final image is one which I wanted to relate to the first one about Zeta Halo. Here we see another screenshot, but this time it's an overview of the environment. But what's most interesting is below the image there's text that says, capture a Banshee and fly to a floating ring fragment across a gap of stars, indicating that what they said at the start about everything you can see is explorable, they have confirmed they mean literally everything, and I'm very, very keen for this. However, one issue does spring to mind about this though. If everything is going to be 100% on the ring, and everything on the ring is going to be 100% explorable, is there going to be some variety on the ring? Because I can see exploration getting really boring really quickly, especially if it's all going to be what we've seen already, which from what we've seen so far, it looks very much the case. On top of this, I do wonder how Cortana's story is going to be included on this ring. Speaking of Cortana though, they've added an audio log to this update as well, so I'm just going to play that now and so you can listen to it.
How many now?
16 systems shut down so far. Seemingly random locations. I'm attempting to lock her and the others out of the main...
You will not be able to stop her. She knows more about how this all works than, well, anyone.
Dr. Halsey.
John.
What's the plan?
The plan? Right now, we are in survival mode, again. Cortana's message has spread across the galaxy. Most sentient AI are siding with her.
Against us?
Yes. But maybe not you. Tell me, John, what was the last thing she said to you?
She said, goodbye.
So as you can see, they've certainly not abandoned Cortana's story for Infinite, but what I fear is this game is going to be about this game being solely on the ring. Is how they're going to give the story enough versatility with the Banished and Cortana to keep us interested and keep things fresh. The one thing that I can think is that the ring is going to be a hub world, much like Destiny, where you go reach a mission in an open world, and then it starts a level which you travel to another place. Now, I don't quite know how I feel about that. Like I said before, I'd rather only part of this ring be explorable, and then have other open world locations for us to explore, like Reach, San Helios or the Ark, or maybe even the UNSC Infinity. Maybe they are planning for this, but who knows. So that's about it for this update. If you have any other opinions on this update, please let me know and put them in the comments down below. I would love to hear your opinions on this update. However, that's about all the time for this video here. I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. If you did enjoy, don't forget to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button for more awesome gaming content, or update content, or whatever type of content, and I shall see you all later. Bye!